Welcome back to the channel, guys. In today's video we're going to be talking about the top 10 things that you either need to know or do prior to launching your boat. We're also going to be covering a bonus round which may help either save you from getting a ticket or getting arrested. So let's get to the video. First of all, if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you're either a new boat owner or you're thinking about buying a new boat. And I want to say congratulations to you on your new boat purchase. It's going to be something that you can have for years to come. We're going to go over real quickly. One of the things that Jimmy Norris prided himself on when he started the Tracker boats, and we're going to be going over a Tracker Grizzly boat today in this video, and his dream was this: you could go there, buy it off the showroom and take it directly to the lake, launch it, go fishing, go boating, do whatever. I'm going to explain to you some things that are missing on the boat that would get you in trouble, that you have to have on your boat by law, and his logic no longer applies. So here we go. Item number one. The very first thing on the list that I think is really important that a lot of people aren't talking about is make sure that you've got your boat covered insurance-wise before you even hook it up at the dealership and take off with it. That's going to come into play. Hopefully it doesn't come into play, but if anything happens on your way home or your way to the lake, you know, number one, you're already covered, your boat's covered, and that'll take a huge weight off your shoulders. Number two, one of the most important things that get overlooked very often is your lug nuts on your trailer. A lot of times during the shipping process, those will become loose. For whatever reason, go ahead and double check them. And then as you're walking around your boat, go ahead and check your tongue and make sure that the latch up front is actually secured to your ball. It should be firm, but not too tight when you're actually closing the clasp on the latch of your boat. And then it should also have a little clip underneath it which will keep it from lifting up as you attach it to your trailer. Ours was actually loose, and you could actually raise the trailer up off of the ball, and it was the right size ball, because I know what some of you are going to be thinking. It was actually loose enough that you could raise it up using the tongue jack on the Jeep. That's something that I learned many years ago towing trailers. A lot of times you'll figure out you've got the wrong size ball, or the actual latch itself has become loose, whether from shipping or whatever else. Things happen. Maybe the kid that's getting $6 an hour that put it on there didn't screw it on tight enough. Who knows? Double check that, because the last thing you want to do is have the tongue of your trailer bounce off of your ball, especially if you're in transit going down the road. While we're talking about tow vehicles, and this is something that a lot of people don't talk about, make sure when you're looking at your boat that your vehicle will actually tow that boat. Compare what the empty weight is, what your estimated weight you're going to put in your boat with your fishing gear or whatever kind of junk you're going to be hauling. Make sure that the vehicle you have is actually rated to pull that. Next thing that you're going to want to do, especially if you got a brand new boat and a new motor, is go ahead and wax up your engine. That cowling, we're using a spray called SC1. It's kind of a wax and polish all in one. I've used this on motorcycles and everything else in the past. It's a really good cleaner. While you're back there by your engine, this is a good time to double check and make sure that there isn't any little aluminum shavings or anything like that from the process of when they were putting your boat together. You don't want any of those little shavings to get into your bilge pump. If your boat comes equipped with a bilge pump, vacuum all that out of there. Those little metal shavings, if they get caught up in your bilge pump, could destroy it, either break the fans or seize it up. And you don't want to be out on the lake taking on water and realize that your bilge pump's not working because you had a little bit of trash or metal shavings or debris that got hung up in your bilge pump. While we're talking about the bilge pump, this is a great time to go ahead and hit your switch. Make sure that it's working properly. That way, again, if you end up taking on water or something like that, you know that your bilge pump's working. Again, while you're at the back of the boat and you've checked out your bilge pump, this is a great time to go ahead and double check and make sure that the plug that you got for your boat is the right size. You should be able to slide it in. It shouldn't be too tight. And then also screw it down. When you screw it down, it's going to get tight pretty quick, guys. You pull on it, make sure that it doesn't slip out. That way you know you got the right size. It's not a bad idea, especially if you're buying a new boat. Go ahead and pick up an extra. Those things come up missing from time to time. While we're talking about how they get lost, in years past on all the John boats that we've had, I've taken the drain plug out and I threw it right in the back of the boat. These new Tracker boats have a big square tubing, and it runs from the bow to the stern. That square tubing is designed so that you can run wires for a trolling motor or whatever else from the bow to the stern real easily. That square tubing is large enough that the plug will actually fit into it. I didn't want to get to the lake and it come up missing, so I've actually put that in a little dry bag. It doesn't have to be a dry bag, it's just one of those little dry bags, and it's got the clasp on it, and then I put a piece of aluminum across the top back lid back here so that you could actually just clip it to that. And then now I'm not going to be looking for the drain plug. Again, go ahead and pick up an extra one. Those things come up missing from time to time, and that way if you get to the lake, you've already got an extra in your boat. Now then, that brings us up to the safety equipment and things that are required by law. You have to have a life jacket in your boat for every person in the boat. You need to check the age restrictions for your state. Here in Texas, if you're under a certain age, that person has to have the life jacket on the entire time the boat's moving. I don't know about when it's docked or tied up. Again, check with your local laws, but every person has to have a life jacket. And then one of the other things, again, it doesn't come with the boat. Sorry, Johnny Morris, but it doesn't. You have to have a paddle by law. You have to have a fire extinguisher by law. And if you guys are not familiar, nobody's talking about this, a lot of these grizzly trackers do not come with a horn equipped. Go ahead and grab yourself a horn. You can buy all this stuff at Walmart for less than 30 bucks. The next thing that you're going to have safety-wise is going to be a throw cushion. It's got to be U.S. Coast Guard approved. It'll actually state on the packaging U.S. Coast Guard approved. Again, you can get all that at Walmart. And then lastly, depending on the length and size of your boat, especially here in Texas, you do have to have the red and green lights up front, and you have to have the white light in the back. That's required by law, especially if you put a motor on it. One thing that we've always done is we've always attached a whistle. That way, if you got separated, somehow you came out of the boat, you've still got a signaling device, audible signaling device on your person. You should be wearing your life jacket. That's what they're for. Again, we won't go into that, but again, I always attach whistles to every life jacket that we have just in case something happens, somebody gets separated. Generally, people don't fall out of the boats on the real pretty days in the middle of the summer. It's going to be some sort of storm that crept up on you or whatever else. You want to make sure that people can hear you, especially in the middle of a storm. You don't want to be hanging onto a cypress tree without a way to signal others. One of the other kind of optional things that you could think about putting on your boat is going to be some sort of depth finder or fish finder. This is a great way to sell this to your wife, especially if you're wanting to upgrade on your fish finder. You can explain to her that you need this because it's got GPS. GPS will help you from getting lost. It'll also tell you if you're getting into real shallow water so that you don't have damage to your boat and or see trees or whatever else is underneath your boat. It is, in my mind, a good safety piece of equipment. A lot of people think of it as a luxury. This one, again, came off of our kayak. Save money where you can. If you are getting a brand new boat, one thing that you're going to find is there's a lot of useful information in your owner's manual. You'll be surprised if you start doing any kind of YouTube videos, people are going to say, hey, didn't you read your owner's manual? And that way you can say, yeah, I've got my owner's manual. That's something that you want to think about doing, is thumb through that. An owner's manual for your motor. That'll help you with the break-in. And then lastly, the bonus round that I mentioned when we first started this video, something that will keep you from either getting tickets or going to jail that nobody's talking about. We've already covered all the safety things that you have to have by law legally here in Texas. A lot of these are exactly the same in a lot of other states. I know some of these same things you have to have in Oklahoma as well. But one thing that we didn't have in Oklahoma that we have an abundance of here, especially in East Texas, is invasive species, whether you're talking about zebra mussels or you're talking about giant sylvania or the other invasive aquatic plants. In the state of Texas, there's actually a charge for transporting invasive species, and that could be the zebra mussels, it could be the plants, whatever. I know that recently, over this past fall, I read an article where somebody had gotten a ticket for that. I don't know if they went to jail on it or not, but it's very important when you're pulling your boat out of the water, go ahead and drain all the water out of your boat. And then the next thing that you want to do is you want to make sure and clean your boat and your trailer. From what I understand from reading that article about the other guy that got the ticket, he had the stuff smeared all over the bottom of his trailer, had made no attempt to clean it, and that's where they got him, was transporting invasive aquatic plants. Another thing that you might want to look into while you're at Walmart and you're buying these other supplies, get one of these little deals that hooks up to the bottom of your motor to where you can actually hook a garden hose up to it and flush the water out of your system on your motor. That's helpful for stopping the spread of invasive species. Again, guys, I know this was real quick. This is basically going over the top 10 things. Again, if you've purchased a new boat or you're considering a new boat, I hope that you found some of this information helpful. Again, we appreciate your likes, comments, and subscribes. And as always, guys, we can't cover everything. There's going to be some things that I forgot about. Please add down in the comments below, what are some things that I missed? What are some things that are extremely important to you, especially if you're setting up a new boat, for as far as making sure that you're covering all your laws, the safety, that type of stuff. And again, one thing that I didn't even talk about, you do have to have your paperwork handy. And if you've bought a new boat, they probably have given you a temporary tag. I've got it in a plastic bag so that I've got my tag that's temporary for the boat, motor, and trailer. There's actually one on the trailer. And then also carry your insurance, that type of stuff, and make sure that it's handy to get to as well. Most of these things, if you get stopped by a game warden, if you've got all your stuff ready, rocking and rolling, ready to go, he's going to think, hey, these people are squared away. Let's just go on about our business and go check the next guy. Again, if it looks like you're fumbling around and they don't know, you don't know what you're doing, they're going to be a little more concerned and probably spend a little more time with you. And I know this from experience. Again, anything that I may have forgotten, comment down below. Let us know some of your thoughts. I know that every state's a little bit different. If you're watching from another state, share something in the comments that you believe that you're required by law as well. Again, we appreciate your likes, comments, and subscribes. If you found any of this information useful, please consider subscribing. We're going to be bringing you a lot more videos. And until next week's video comes out, be sure to click the link up here. We've got a whole bunch of playlists where we've made other videos especially for you. Again, may you have a blessed week. And let's get outside and make something happen. Oh yeah, you know the old saying, money can't buy you happiness, but it can buy you a boat. And if you ain't got no money, they're doing 10-year financing. They are. 10-year financing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Go ahead and hook it up to a trickle charger or some other kind of charger. Another thing that I think goes right along with this safety, and it's something that nobody talks about, have an anchor if you can. That can help you. If nothing else, throw that anchor out to kind of keep your boat from going into the rock. And then lastly, one of the things that should come in your boat is some sort of lanyard. This needs to be attached to you anytime that your boat is driving, and basically this is attached to a kill switch. If for whatever reason something happens and you were to fall out of the boat, it's going to kill all power to your boat. It's going to turn your engine off. And one thing that we do is we have that Find My Friends app. I've also shared this with my other motorcycle riding buddies, and anytime that they're out riding, we can kind of keep an eye on each other. Think about somebody that you can trust. You can let them know, hey, here's my plans. I'm going out to Lake of the Pines this weekend, or I'm going to Caddo Lake. Keep an eye on me. Add your buddies to it, someone that you trust and someone you know who can come help you. Is get you some sort of good weather app. And next week, we're going to be doing our boat reveal as well as the motor break-in on the brand new Archery 60 horsepower motor. Again, we appreciate each and every one of you. And let's get outside and make something happen.